Okay, this is welcome to. Okay, listen. I did not have a lot of time to get this set up. I could not find my microphone, and therefore we are going to have to do something a little drastic. I currently have my iPad propped up on 6 books, and we are going to try to do something with this setup, even though it is killing me mentally, and also probably killing you. Ah! This is Khan's main twisted fixes. Oh wait, here, let me try. I know my. This is Khan's main twisted fixes. The slideshow. Originally, this was a document, but I changed it because I thought it was stupid. And now this is a little less stupid, but at the same time, it kind of tears your heart out of your chest and holds it above you and then squeezes it and it explodes. But I like that kind of stuff. That's why I played Dandy's World. Salty forward. Welcome to yet another iteration of me getting way into a piece of media that is lackluster and hoping one day they make it better despite evidence usually being on the contrary. Today is the hit Roblox game Dandy's World. If you want a good horror game, play Pressure. If you want a game that is specifically tailored to your ravenous loves of mascots, horror, and miscellaneous evil fluids, play Dandy's World. As you can see, I have a lot of gripes with the game, but I won't be talking about all of them here. And don't get me wrong, I love the game, or at least the game's potential, and that's why I critique it. I think it's pretty fine, but it could be made much better. There are a lot of fixes I have, not least of which is the small fixes, which could help the game tenfold already. However, today I'm talking about some big fixes, the nature of the main twisteds. For my first few playthroughs, the main twisteds were pretty darn scary. My first was Shelly. When I got out and heard those footsteps along with seeing the status effect above my character, I got very tense. I'm a sucker for SFX, and the game does a fairly good job of making the mains out to be these formidable foes with it. However, after seeing them a few more times, they're definitely stressful, but there's no special character to them. I know the longer you play horror games, the less scary they get, but the problem with this one is that the scare factor wore off quickly, along with any interest I really had at the nature of the monster. The other thing is, when I encountered all of the main twisteds, they sort of fused into one amalgam for me. They all have the same patrol, chase, kill code, which is a bit disappointing seeing as how the game has a number of interesting, much less rare twisteds that have their own unique strategies. Take, for a smaller example, Roger, who is a magnifying glass and a cartoon detective. He's a stationary monster that takes the form of a research capsule, a very important item in the game, with a slight change in its design. It's missing the tape that usually surrounds it. This makes it so that the player base will learn to avoid an attack by Roger via being observant, which is a lovely nod to Roger's character and also influences the player base towards being a bit more attentive of the world around them. That's essential in a game like this. These types of out-of-the-norm monsters are what really gives the game its challenge and novelty with each floor. The fact that all the mains are just slightly stronger versions of the base zombie version is frustrating to me, which is why I aim to change them to make their strategies better fit their theming and spice up gameplay. Disclaimer! Consider these fixes are made with a slightly different game in mind. On the later levels, such as floor 20, there's a cap to the number of enemies that can spawn. There's a max of something like 6 or 8 enemies, all with slightly improved or special abilities as the floors go on. Alternatively, the enemies don't get harder, but instead the surroundings become actively malicious somehow. Ideally, the largest amount of mains you can have on one floor is 2, maybe 3 in rare cases, and they have to be different characters, no repeats. Twisted Shelly! Yeah. Shelly is by far the scariest design in the game. The way her former body hangs limply while her monstrous legs bring her around is very unsettling, and the fact she bends down when chasing, making her harder to see, is also inherently scary. All in all, there's a lot of great stuff from her, but sadly, her stats don't match. For the girl with the theropod legs, being outmatched in speed by the clunky dog made of rocks kinda sucks. She's never in the spotlight, and I think she should have that by now. Fixes. Make Shelly the fastest monster in the game. She deserves it, and would make her and Pebble equally dangerous. Make her a bit slower with walking speed. It will make her seem much more like a cunning threat, as well as scaring the player when she switches to chase mode. The confusion effect is confusing. I don't think she needs it. You can make it so that she prefers patrolling around places where there is sunlight, such as the lights on machines. Then you will need to figure out how to lead her around in such a way that she won't go for the characters working on them, but also won't kill the people leading her. Change up her sounds a little bit. Her and Pebble sound a little too similar. I think we should be able to hear her claws scraping the ground, and when she roars, I think it should be high-pitched and distorted, almost gently human. It would help increase the scare factor. Out of all of these, I think Shelly makes the most sense in-game. I wouldn't change much about her except for a few little things. Redesign! Yay! Yay! Since she already has a hole in the side of her face in the base design, I thought I would make it a circle of chambers. How does she eat? Messily. Since she's supposed to be a mix of different creatures, I wanted to play into that a little more with the spines and feathered tail. Anyways, it excuses my bad dinosaur anatomy, and her talons are brightly colored so that players can see her moving a bit better. This is the boss theme, but even though I probably won't get copyright striked because this audio is already horrible, I'm just gonna play a simulacrum coming from my mouth. Boom, 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 boom. So it sounds like that. Cool song. Anyways, Twisted Pebble. Scary. Pebble. Pebble is undoubtedly the most challenging Twisted in the game. He can see everything, he runs faster than a lot of characters can, and he's scary as hell. He's harder than Danny, for Pete's sake. When you hear him, you better kiss your ass goodbye if you have any sort of below average stealth and average speed. AKA don't be the lamp. But how does this make sense? After all, Pebble is made of rocks. I can get that he's the fastest character as a small dog, but not as a monster. He's 12 times his size and is made of boulders and string. He isn't even quadrupedal anymore, which would have probably made him much speedier considering what he looks like. Yeah. Like a horse. The other skill he has, his eyesight, is fine with me. He does have giant peepers, and even though dogs aren't known for their great eyes, he makes up for it by the great eyes being built in his design. It's like, I just wish they played up more of the fact that he is literally a boulder dog. He's a boulder dog. Boulder dog. Boulder dog. Fixes! Make him slower. Much slower. He's made of rocks. Again, this will make him and Shelly equally dangerous as well as more unique. Play up the fact that he's made of rocks. You know how in a lot of media, characters made of stone will roll up into balls and do a sort of spin dash attack? I think he should be able to do that every half a minute or some interval. Pebble can stop, paw the ground in preparation, and roll extremely fast in a straight line until he goes a certain distance or crashes into an object. It accentuates his material and size and also makes him slightly unpredictable and a little goofy. In addition to this, he could be terrible at turning corners. Again, change up his sound design. This goes for all of them. The sound design is okay, but it could be better. Make it sound like he's real heavy and armored. When he chases someone, don't loop the same growling sound effect, because I heard that so many times, and he's just and it gets boring. I want a cacophony of weird rabbit dog sounds, maybe with some bull or bear mixed in there for good measure. In conclusion, Pebble is good in game, but takes away from Shelly and could be a little more fun. Redesign. Yeah. So as you can see, he's chunky, because he shouldn't be made of string. I don't like string Pebble. He should be a man. So he's based off of new goats, I think new goats, golems, and boars. The ichor vines are meant to symbolize his very close tie to Dandy. I wanted him to resemble a dog a little more without having the body type of one. Also, he has tusks and a manicure, and also a pedicure, but I didn't mention that. And he's shaped in a way so that he can roll into a ball and go and kill 5 people. This is my Pebble soundscape. This is why he doesn't need a boss theme. Since this is my video, I get to make it as loud as I want. This won't get copyright strike, I don't think, because it's stupid. Anyway. Okay, that's enough of that. Wow, that sure was a lot. Let's take a break. Twisted Astro! So, my brother made the background. My brother made the background and he wants me to share it with you all. Astro, for what it's worth, is fine. I like his status effect and the fact he doesn't make you slower but drains your stamina faster. I'm a big fan of his sound design and I think it's some of the best in the game. It really makes him out to be this looming, omniscient, fae-like monster. I like his forearms show up in his twisted form and are hidden in his toon form, but that's about it. He's only scary if you hear him and can't see it. I think they could have played up the fact that he is literally the moon and also magical. Magic never comes up in Danny's world except for Astro. How'd that happen? I'm still confused about this. He's got magic? And to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how to fix him, but I'll try. So fixes. The status effect is always active, but only when someone's in his proximity. It would just make it eerier if they can't see him but know he's there. The fact he takes away progress from unfinished machines is a little funny. He doesn't need to do that. What's he gonna do with the I-core? Eat it?
I can't stop drinking oil. I can't stop drinking oil. I just can't stop. I can't stop drinking crude oil.
Make him hidden in some way on bright levels. After all, he is the moon, and the moon is hidden in daytime. I think something like a cloud that will shroud him from farther distances could be good. Another idea is that he turns off the lights or makes them dimmer, a la the classrooms. You know that guy? In turn, make him glow in blackouts. Make him ghost-like. Maybe you can phase through certain objects, but not all of them. He can still be very slow, but the fact he can sometimes take a shortcut if a player is circling, say, glass, makes him much harder to kite. Maybe give him an altered version of Shelley's confusion effect. Instead of filling up machines slower, he makes skill check boxes smaller for people who don't have small boxes already. It's a more active challenge than just waiting longer. But I think either the ghost ability or the confusion ability should be added, not both. He shouldn't be extremely challenging. This is a personal gripe, but it changes design more. He's literally the moon and also a wizard. Play with that. He looks stupid. I know people don't think he looks stupid, but I think he does. Why does he have 4 arms? I'm fine with it. He can be a big boy. Make him look a little more creepy and deity-like. Personally, I'd make him the tallest twisted with a face that's almost all shadowed, or at least in brightly lit levels. All in all, Astro is mediocre, but his theming gives him a lot of potential for a creepier, more unique threat, and that goes for all of these moving forward. Redesign! He might be a little bit too tall for the camera. So that's his skull. Oh, he's based off of wizard towers, spiders, and the sounds he makes in-game. He basically reaches the ceiling and is very hard to see from far enough distances. But this changes during blackouts. Here's an idea for a blackout form. You can't really see that well, but it says all exposed skin will glow a bright blue, which is actually the color of gay people. His hand will come out from under the cloak when attacking, making him more visible for a short period of time. He's gonna steal you. So again, I can't play this. I don't exactly remember what happens in the song, but I think it was like, anyways, Twisted Sprout. I'm gonna knock and the dragon for you. I spent a lot of time on this. Please laugh and clap. Sprout. Sprout is the newest addition to the Boss Monster catalog. And, like Shelley, I think he works fairly well with what they gave him. I really like how he makes vines emerge from the ground, but there could be more to it. Also, the fact he bounds towards you with his arms out and then forgets about you when you're out of his line of sight for 3 seconds is really funny to me. He's like, oh snap. Fixes! Give him at least a much longer attention span. He needs it. Since him and Dandy are both plants, I think they should be more unique in their certain species of plantedness. I'll get to this in the next bullet, but all I'm saying is that Sprout can make tentacles appear, which is fun, but it also seems exactly like something Dandy should be able to do as well. There's a chance of this confusing players. He's a strawberry plant, and I think this should be played with more. Strawberries are known for their vast networks of horizontal stems called runners. You've probably seen them. These runners will create nodes from which emerge identical strawberry plants, who then make their own runners and so on. Let's say Sprout is the mother strawberry plant, or the origin of all the others. These nodes will spread out around every part of the map and be seeable with green leaves coming out of the ground. If stepped on, these leaves will ensnare the player for a short period of time, as well as send out a distress signal that will alert Sprout. In addition to this, Sprout can now sense movement. Since his runners sprawl throughout the entire map, Sprout will use this to go after the players closest to him who are running or moving in any way. Sprout has the ability to make nearby nodes actively hostile, to which they will bloom and take 1 heart away from the player if they are stepped on. It is only temporary. In panic mode, Sprout will chase any sort of movement nearest to him, and all nodes will become active. Again, Sprout is a fine monster, and I like his vines, but more could be done with the idea. Redesign. As you can see, he's a little bit bigger. He barely fits in the screen again, which is really good for me. So he's based off of rotting fruit, runner vines, and the Meyer clops from Pikmin 3, of course. So the 3 legs, it goes, and then you know, I like that guy. Originally, most of him was supposed to be underground when spawning in, but I changed it. It would still be a fun idea for him to come out of the ground each floor. This design is supposed to have remnants of what happened to him. For example, someone covered up his rotted eye, and his hands resemble a coffin pose. Again, I don't exactly remember what happened to the song, but I could do a good proxy. So it's kind of like that. Oops. Well, let's hear. I was right. Oh, you know who it is? Twisted V. Whee! Disclaimer, I am going to try to stay as objective as possible, but you should know that I love her very much, so it might impair my decisions. I'm sorry. It's time I get to the girl boss. Now, by some stroke of impossibly bad luck, or maybe because I've angered some god, I've only seen her once in game, and that was at a blackout. But it's safe to say that she's not too different from the others. Her main thing is that she'll make pop-ups appear on a player's screen that will get in the way of their vision, and they will have to click off of. It's cheeky, fun, and fits her character. And this is personal, but I also like the fact that the versions of her that appear on the screen aren't the twisted ones, but instead her normal toon form. It's a nice bit of world building. Her other ability is that when she spots a player, she'll make them slower. I don't really know why that happens, and it feels more annoying than anything. But I'm saying this as the person who loves her. At least with someone like Finn, the slowness makes sense. She also runs at an average speed, which I'm fine with. Fixes. Pop-ups can stay, I think they're neat. I appreciate that her ability fits well with her character, but there could be even more done with the whole living TV shebang. For example, her ability could have to do with the machines on each floor. She can hijack them, which will alert her when they are being filled or completed. With each machine completed, she can also progress into a more dangerous monster, as she gains more energy as the machines gain Ichor. She's a game show host, and a lot of fun stuff could be done with that. I know there's no speakers on the floors, but I think that would still be fun if V could hijack some sound-based device in order to speak in garbled text as if she's relaying information. Doesn't necessarily mean she needs to have a voice. It could be along the lines of Twisted Glisten's text pop-ups. Like, don't leave me. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. But much more manic and show busy. This could be used after certain events, such as the first completion of a machine or in panic mode. This is the progress thing I was talking about last time, and this is for a normal level, like a low level, but if there was more machines, I think it would be more spread out in like how fast it progresses. For 0 out of 4 machines, she will be shut down and idle. For 1 out of 4 machines, she will get up and start to roam at half the average walking speed. She cannot see, but will instinctively go towards the machine that was completed. For 2 out of 4 machines complete, we will move a bit quicker and be able to see an average range. If not chasing after someone, she will go for the second completed machine. For 3 out of 4 machines complete, V will move at an above average walking speed and faster running speed. If not chasing someone, V will run towards any machines being worked on. 4 out of 4 machines complete. If machines are touched after the last one is completed, they will electrocute the player and deal 1 heart. V will run at an above average running speed and primarily go after players. Redesign! You can't even see her antenna. There she is. Yay! So she's not too different from her old design, except for the fact that she's like a mishmash of different parts. I was thinking like junkyard. She's in the junkyard. She's made of junkyard parts. I thought the red highlights in her eyes were too subtle, so in a lot of fan art, I usually can't tell her apart from her twisted form because of it, so I opted for a completely red display. And also, she got broken screen because I thought it would be broken by now. I feel like it would be broken by now. If her body's broken, her face should be broken too. She bashes people's heads in with her mic and it makes a feedback sound effect. She grabs it, so like a terrible sound, and she's like, I got you! Again, can't play it, but I think I know how it goes. It goes like... mechanical, as you could probably tell, because my proxy was perfect. Oh, well, let's see. Yeah, I was right. Dandy. Dander. Disclaimer, again, I'll try to stay objective, but I hate this guy. Last but not least, loser. Despite being the big bad of the whole game, he's not great at it. I mean, he's big, but he's slow for his size and easy to outsmart. The only reason he feels so special is because he's technically a secret boss and can also kill people in 1 hit, which is stupid. I mean, it works, but it's stupid. Why can he do that? What? Hands too big? I will give it to the game. Dandy's design is pretty cool. The fact that he's on all 4s and has a body that's entirely black is scary and intriguing. But again, I think this is weighed down by his strategy. If he's so smart, why not show that in game? If he's so unpredictable, why not show that as well? Make me dread meeting him outside those elevator doors for the right reasons, not just because I'm going to have to run around a lot of corners. Fixes. Make Dandy fast, stealthy, and cunning. Not extremely fast, but fast enough to give me a small heart attack. Even with his giant claws, he can make it so that he's quiet as a mouse until he gives chase. As for the cunning part, I think the game does a good enough job with his advanced pathfinding mechanisms. I think. He might not have them, but when I was with him, he was all over the place. He like knew my every move. Give Dandy random breaks. One way to make him look very unpredictable is to make him stop at random intervals and be idle for a second before walking again. This is like Tisha, but more sporadic. The second you think he's walking away, he turns around and sees you. Give him a unique mechanic. For him specifically, I was thinking that this would be another idle strategy. Danny will wait by the first machine on any given map, sitting still until a player gets close enough, and then spring to life and chase them. Basically, you need him to chase you in order to feasibly finish the map. It makes him out to be deceptive and playful. Another idea is him hoarding all the tapes he sees, and if he spots more than one target, going for the player with the most tapes in their inventory. Something else that could be disturbing, because I do want him to be more disturbing, is him stepping all the ichor from the machines, somehow. Either they always actively goes down if no one's on them, or he'll go to the machines and drink them if he's not busy with something else. I know Astro had this ability, but it fits more for Danny instead. I assume he loves that stuff because he's a freak, and he's made of it. I'm made of blood. I love blood. Give him better sound design, god damn it. His sounds are the most nothing out of all the main Twisteds. No, Dandy, I don't want to hear the same song you've been playing on repeat in your shop, but now it's on a level. Branch out with your music taste, Dandy. I promise there's more to life than just Claire de Lune. Besides that, I also think he should have more snickering and laughing sounds, much like Astro's otherworldly snicker sound. Heck, take from Undertale, like V did with Mettaton. Omega Flowery has a truly terrifying laugh. Let me show. And making something like that, but with Dandy instead, will ensure in the player's mind that he is not to be trifled with. It could be more interesting to make him the only character in the game with a legitimate voice. Just like in Undertale, in Deltarune, and Redesign. Wow! His fat ass takes him most of the screen, I'm so sorry. So I'm giving him multiple boss themes despite the Claire de Lune Night Core, and also because he is a guaranteed monster if you're trying for his run. Like, if you're trying for a Dandy run, you'll always run into him if you don't die immediately. So he's based off of cherubim, chimeras, in cartoons, which is also what I'm based off of. My fetus was. I forgot the tapes because I was too busy doing the pedals. And this took a lot of work, so you better appreciate it. So these two songs, they might not be copyrighted because they are old. So this one's about children dying. What does it go like? Children falling. And then this one sounds like... This is a classic. So that's basically what, in short, the in-game main Twisteds are dull, and ideally, they should present a unique challenge or trial in every floor they show up in. They look like bosses, but they don't act like bosses. That should be fixed in order to make the game more fun, with a new twist, around every corner. I probably got some facts wrong, and because of that, feel free to tell me or critique me. After all, I'm not a game developer, and could never create something like Dandy's World, at least not for a very long time. Anyways, thanks for tuning into my talk. This is technically the end of the slides, but if you want to see extra, like, you can go into the doc if you want, and look at them. Anyways, that's all, folks. Ha!